Adupong. Who is she? She's a food and social entrepreneur. She has nearly 2 decades in the agribusiness sector, specializing in food processing, sourcing, packaging, distribution, the whole food value chain, you could say. From interesting beginnings, which you wouldn't have thought would have led her to where she is, as being not only somebody with experience of working in a rather tough agricultural corporate environment here in Ghana, but being her very own boss lady and CEO. And we say good morning to you, Charity.
Good morning, Anaya.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Asaase Breakfast Show.
Thank you for having me.
And you wafted in here looking majestic and like the boss lady you are.
Thank you.
And would love to hear more about your journey, because when most people talk about women in agriculture, you think of the peasant farmers, who are the vast majority of farmers in this country, scraping out a living, tilling the soil. You've come at agriculture and agribusiness from a completely different angle. You trained as an accountant, and indeed you worked as an accountant for more than a decade before moving into being your own boss in a food company. Tell us a little bit about the whole thing of even the journey into working with a major, I think, agricultural products producer based in Tema. Was it an obvious thing that you were always going to be working in hardcore face-to-face business, or might you have done something else completely different with your life?
Okay, thank you, Nanaya, and thank you for having me. My passion for food, I would say, was an accident. I just walked in as a national service person, trying to find my feet when I moved from Swedru to Tema. I just wanted something to support myself.
So you were just moving back to first principles. So you were born in the central region.
Yeah.
You went to Swedru
Secondary School. Yeah.
And then after that, what did you move on to do? You didn't go to university, did you?
I went to the Polytechnic.
Right.
Yes, and then I did ACCA, and then but I did it alongside doing my accounting job at Chemico. So I came to Chemico as a national service person, and then I stayed. But my coming to Chemico was because my mom ran a veterinary shop, and she was a customer. She used to buy from there. Right. And one day I followed her to go and see what she's been about when she says, I'm going to Tema. And I just fell in love with the place. I am a very aesthetic person. I am a perfectionist when it comes to how things should look. They have to look a certain way for me.
Oh, yeah?
So when I walked into Chemico, I just told myself, this is where I'm going to work after school. And my mother laughed, you and your big dreams.
So you come from the central region.
Yeah.
She used to come to Tema to stock up on supplies.
Yes.
What was it about the layout of the company that made you think this is where I want to
be? The lawns, the flowers, the walkways, the walls were clean, super clean. Wow. And then when I went to the ladies' washroom, I said, wow. You know, when you want to see how a company treats its people, use their washroom, and you would understand. So I just fell in love with the place, and I thought, this is where I want to work after school.
And obviously the lawns and the lush flowers are product of partly what they dealt with. They must have dealt in fertilizer, right?
Yes.
So the lawns were very well fed.
So we had to let everybody know that when you use our products,
they actually work.
They actually work, yes.
Okay, so fantastic looking grounds, and as you said, that all-important thing of the ladies' washroom, and you think, I like this place.
I like this place, yes.
But how did you persuade them? You managed to get a national service placement by...
So I had to go and do my investigation and find out if I can do my national service with a private company. And that was possible. I had to take a letter to the National Service Office and have me posted there. So I did all of that without my mother's knowledge.
Hey. Yes, girl, enterprising young woman. You know your own mind.
Yes. So after school, I told her this is what I've done, and she said, okay, she'll speak to them and see what they. And there was a back and forth. One morning, I just woke up at 4 a.m. sit myself in a trotro, came to Tema to come and wait for the accountant, because my mom said the accountant said he has spoken to the boss, and the boss says he should give him some time. So I was sitting there waiting for him. So they all came to meet me. They said, oh no, this girl is really serious,
She's keen.
And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you did your year of national service, and
yes.
then
and I worked my back off.
Whoa.
So after national service, I just told them I want to stay, and they said, why not?
What duties were you given during your national service?
I did everything. I was assistant to everybody, to the secretaries, to the accountants. Even when the cashier was not there, I replaced him. And Chemico was such that, you know, when you work with farmers like I do now, farmers don't really like the banking system. They always do cash. So you it's not like you're counting small money. Sometimes the money swallows me when I'm sitting there.
It arrives in Ghana, must go bags.
Seriously, like, you know. So yes, I did everything, stock taking, everything. And when it's stock taking, you come and see me in my boots, like, and then I'll climb up and check what, and that has really helped in my journey as an entrepreneur myself. Yes, but initially my natural abilities was to become like a fashion designer, but I was, when I did my search, I realized that to start off, it was going to take a lot from me, from work and all of that. So I thought I would invest in something else and then make the money to go back.
Right.
But I got into deep with the food business, and I began to love it so much, especially seeing my mother struggle as a single mom and raising 3 girls by herself and all. So I also fell in love when I started working with smallholder farmers. Most of them were women who took care of their children by themselves. And so working with them, giving them a fair market price, giving them a ready market, that they have the peace of mind to know that, oh, Charity will be there, Meannan will be there to take up when I'm done, is something that gives me a lot of fulfillment. And so I just had to keep going.
I must say, this is a woman, already you can tell that you've got many strings to your bow there. Because yes, I can understand the thing about wanting to become a fashion designer, because you are super stylishly turned out.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't have the privilege of watching us on Facebook, I must say, Charity has the most amazing hair. The most amazing bouncy looking, like a sort of Chaka Khan number. And she's wearing this beautiful jewelry, understated, but you notice it as soon as you see her, and a sort of classic outfit. She just looks stylish, and she looks business-like at the same time. And she's got some nice makeup, but it's not overdone, you know. So she's clearly a woman, you're interested in fashion and how you present yourself and looks, and maybe that's something you've always been interested in, but you saw that company, you thought, I want to work for them, and your whole career path takes a complete different turn in the direction of business administration and specifically accountancy. Did you always have a talent for numbers?
Not really. You know, my mom thought that getting one of us into nursing, one into accountancy, and one maybe into becoming a teacher will give her a peace of mind, because she knew that definitely at the end of the month these girls will have some money in their hands and they wouldn't have to come back to me to be a burden. So she got me into accounting, that she was sure that I'll get a job after school, and I am really grateful. Then I wasn't so happy with her, but I'm really grateful I did, because I know my numbers and my figures off my head. Wow. Anytime.
And that puts you in a very strong position to be an excellent employee to Chemico, which you clearly were. They loved you so much that they kept you on after your national service, and you ended up
I was there for 11 years. Yes, and alongside running the business. So by the time I was walking out of Chemico in 2015, December 2015, I already had 13 employees.
So when did you start up your own company, Meannan
I started in 2005, but the company was legally registered in 2006.
And how did you start? You just thought you enjoyed working with the smallholder farmers in your day job. This was your side hustle you were setting up. What were you aiming to do with your private company, your second job, that was different from what you were doing at Chemico?
Okay, so my natural instincts, I like nice things. I like things to look a certain way. So I walked into, that's where I didn't like the way the markets were structured, our local markets, how food is displayed openly, how sometimes it's on the floor, how it's carried and all. So even though I didn't have a lot of money at the time, I didn't have money, I preferred to shop from the supermarket to cook for my weekends because I was schooling and working at the same time. And so I walked into USAVE, is a lower version of ShopRite, to buy egusi and beans to make my weekend food. I'm a fancy, so I like enchichos. So I walked in there and I saw this packaged beans and egusi, and I thought it was a good product, but the packaging was poor.
Right.
So I said, I think I can do a better job. I can do something about this. So I just asked for the shop manager. I went to see him. We spoke for a bit, but I was very tiny then, very lanky, slim little girl. And so he sized me up a bit and said, go and bring a sample. And whilst I was turning around, he said something in Fanti. And I said, oh, I'm Fanti. So we started, Fanti's where we meet. We started joking and we broke the ice from there.
Right.
So when I went back with my experience from Chemico, working with designers for labels and all of
People
those
who do
packaging
branding.
materials, branding. I spoke to them and I gave them a concept of how I want my label to look. And then they did something for me. So in about 2 or 3 weeks, my sample was ready. I bought.
So it wasn't even that you had tried this before.
No,
you just saw it and
no,
you thought,
no.
that can be better.
That can be
And then you went
better.
and commissioned the design on that basis.
So I took back the samples to him and he was like, oh, as in I felt. And that was it. So he introduced me to the country manager then, God bless him, Johan. And then Johan asked me, when I walked into his office the first day, he was like, how old are you? I said, I'm 23.
The lanky
He said,
girl.
I wish I had a business when I was 23. If you are ready to do this, I'll handhold you and help you to make you a millionaire. That stuck with me.
Whoa. So he could see the talent.
Yes.
And he could see the
that
drive.
Stuck with me. And he said something very funny. He said, when you go back, go and tell your boyfriend that I do not have time. So when I want to help you, I'll be calling you at odd hours.
Hey.
And I also said, if he's not ready to stay and help me out with this, then he has to go. So Johan held me. He was the one who said you have to register your business, go to the FDA, go to Standards Authority, go to Food Research and let them help you develop products. And that was really helpful and fantastic.
So you had somebody to be like your mentor, guiding you into your business life. But tell me, because you've not explained, what was different about the branding, the packaging that you took back to USAVE?
It looked good. Food has colors. There are colors that go with food, that work better with food, that make food attractive, that make food appealing for people to want to eat. So if you look at the very best brands, McDonald's, maybe Wendy's, in Ghana, which one? KFC
is another
and
even Chicken
they
Man.
all have red, yellow, maybe green sometimes, especially when it has to do with packaging. So you need to use bold colors, nice pictures, And then the food itself has to look good. They have to have windows where people see what they are buying. In Africa, we don't really like to read. So when people see what they are buying and they are satisfied with it, from the get-go, they fall in love. They want to taste it. So my pack, then it wasn't even as nice as it looks today, but it was bold enough. It was catchy. You know, there was a catch right from the start. So I think that was it for him.
But it's a big leap to going from the branding, if you like, the presentation of food and that sort of thing, with your interest in aesthetics and looks and appeal to a broad audience, to owning your own business where you're working hand in hand with producers and then packaging, distributing, marketing their own materials. So as you were working at Chemico, you set up, as you say, in 2006. 2005 you'd started, but 2006 formally registered. When you started out, on what basis did you start out? You'd had this great guidance from Johan, you say, at USAVE. Did you start out thinking I'm a medium-sized company, or were you literally a one-woman business at the beginning?
No, in my mind from the beginning, I thought that, okay, I'll just package this thing, sell it, have some money in my account, and then buy the very nice shoes I love to buy. And Johan said, no, you have to have a personality of your own, and your business have to have a soul of its own. So that was why he told me, register the business, do this, do that. And I've been very fortunate along the line. When I got married, my husband also took over the baton, and he taught me how to work in the business and then work myself out of the business, so that I can be gone and the business will work on it, will run on its own.
Your husband is into entrepreneurship as well?
He's a pharmacist, but he's a trainer. He's my personal coach. He coaches people to become the best versions of themselves.
Wow.
So he taught me how to work in it and how to work myself out of it for the business to stand alone. So I can be gone for 6 months and the business will still run. And he taught me something. He said, if you are gone and the business cannot run on its own, then it means you are just employing yourself. You are just self-employed. You are not an employer. Right. So I think I took those lessons very seriously, and then I worked in it. So if somebody leaves today, I can handle any part of my business and then take my time to scout for a fit to come and join the team. Like, I know every corner of the business. So when you tell me a lie, because in the beginning, I was the CEO, the marketer, the distributor, the accountant, and the cleaner, the machine operator, whatever I have to do in the business or has to get the business running, I've done it before. And I used to drive my own car to do the distributions. Even when I bought a truck, I learned how to drive trucks, and I was doing all of that by myself. Wow. So every part of it I know firsthand. And that is, I think, what has helped me along the way to be able to come to this point. When you were introducing me and you said nearly 2 decades, I think that sent chills down my side. Oh, I'm so grown now. I've done this for almost 20 years. Yes.
Yes, and you don't look on it, a bit on it. Clearly, no. It's a business that gives you joy. Yes. And as you say, you have found your soul in your business, and your personality has imposed itself in the business. But as you say, you've created a strong enough structure that it can stand up on its own, even though it's of your creation. So the same approach that you had taken to Chemico of being hands-on, doing everything, getting the chance to gain every single bit of experience and learning the business inside out, you have applied to setting up your own.
That was my classroom. Chemico was a springboard, the master class, everything, because they allowed me to be me. So I realized that what we learned in the classroom and what happens in the corporate world is totally different things. And that's one thing that urges me on to want to teach people, mentor people, and help people. Because when I started my business, information was really scarce to come about. You couldn't just go to Google and find all that you needed. And so I had to fall on people. I made calls to some of the pioneers and my forebearers, and none of them, except one, Jokal, Auntie Charlotte, was willing to speak to me and give me some advice. All the rest shut me down completely from the beginning. So it gives me joy to want to train people, help them out, give them something to start, and let them know that anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
So that's the other side of what you do now.
Yeah.
You have the food company, but you're also heavily involved in the business of personal coaching and training.
Yeah.
You had the benefit of two great mentors yourself. Johan, you met at this big food company that you ended up doing work with, but also your husband, who's a great personal coach. So with your own approach to finding people and bringing them along, supporting them, how do you do that? Do you do it on a purely voluntary basis? Do you have some people who come to you and say, I want you to set up a package for me, or repackage me, or rebrand me? And what sorts of women do you have coming to you?
Okay, so I have a club in my alma mater, Swedru School, where I teach entrepreneurship. The name of the club is Intentional Entrepreneur. So I just happened to walk into entrepreneurship, and I made a lot of mistakes. If I didn't make those mistakes, I could see myself somewhere up there. And I do not want others to make the same mistakes I made. And so I want them to think about entrepreneurship intentionally, purposefully. I want to light up their minds to think that they can do it, and also employ other people. And that was my starting point. With the support of the U.S. Embassy, I was on a program called IVLP, International Visitor Leadership Program. Yes. So after I came back, there was a grant.
That took you to the States?
Yes.
For how long?
For 2 weeks. And then when I came back, there was a grant for new entrants to support a project, a social enterprise. And so I won that. I took that and I won that. And that's what I started the entrepreneurship program with.
Wow.
But after that, I am a very social person, and so I'm very present on my social media. So I got a lot of requests from some African countries. Teach me how to do this. Can you mentor me? Can you train me on this? Can you train me on that? And so I also have a training program called Food Processing 101. The first one took place sometime last year, and the second one is coming up in about 2 weeks. And I train people on how to start a food business, how to set up a food business, how to get your certifications right, and a bit of accounting, nutrition, and how to deal with people. And that goes a long way. Yeah.
Fantastic. So it's everything from the human intelligence that you need to get it right, to the regulatory loopholes and the hoops that you have to jump through, to the accounting, which you have a very solid background to help people, obviously. Now, some people would have said that woman and entrepreneur for a lot of people are terms that are mutually exclusive. But you come from a strong family background. You used to describe your mother as a single woman, still raising 3 kids. You have managed to get something from that, take it on, move it on the next step. You're married. Do you have children now?
Yes, I have 4 boys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I won't ask you where you find the time to do that, and how you handle 4 boys and run your own business, and have been running your business for more than the past 20, for almost 20 years.
years.
So how do you think we get past this problem of encouraging particularly younger girls? You talk about going back to Swesco and presumably working with the students. Do you find that there's a younger generation that is more confident in the idea about becoming entrepreneurs, even though they're women, or is there less confidence and actually women stepping back from the idea of engaging with their own business and, I'll just be an employee?
I think that we are too hard on ourselves sometimes. We need to give ourselves grace to be able to make mistakes, forgive ourselves, and look at the next opportunity that we can work harder. The generation I came from is way different from the ones we have now, which we call the Gen Zs. We, the millennials, got to play outside, did pilolo, and we learned from all those things subconsciously without consciously saying we are learning, and that gave us a different outlook on life. These ones, the Gen Zs, have things very easy. Everything is on the phone. It's in their palm. They are on TV. They are playing games. My time, you had to make sure you had taken shower before you can sit on the floor and watch TV. But it's different now.
And the TV time would be limited.
Exactly. And so we sometimes think that they've had it too easy and we bash them. But I think that we have to, build a bridge and help them to work on it, to join us where we are. Give them a lot of grace. Try to understand them, because if we do not understand them and think that, you have gotten it so easy, you misbehave, you don't want to do this. I had a situation where they gave me about 2 or 3 people from, is it NACOB and one of the guys, when he called me, he was asking for directions, asking for this, what do you do? And I was asking him, are you interviewing me? I thought that after they told you are coming to work with Meannan Foods, you go online and find information about the business and try to know something before you come. And then he said, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do that. And he asked me how he was going to get there as well. And I said, okay, some of my employees work from Newtown to come. And so he said, he cannot walk. So if I can advance him some TNT. I was getting angry then. And I said, I'm busy. Can you call back in a bit? So I took my time. And then I called him and I said,
took a deep breath.
Yes. I have an employee there. I'll let him contact you and help you to get here, and then we can talk about it. He came 1, 2, and he did not come back again. And I was sad for him. I had to try and find out what he was doing. So he said, okay, he can come in three times a week and be doing other things. I said, that was not the contract you signed. So can we then go back to NACOB and tell them this is how you want to do your employment thing? And he didn't go anywhere. He wasn't ready to work. So we just have to be a little bit more patient with them, try to bridge the gap between us and them, and show them that there are other ways of doing things and not wait for it to come to you.
Charity Adupong, never was a true word spoken with those insights that you have into people, the way people work, your ability obviously to find the right person to do the job for you, and that is why you are a boss lady. That is why you are the Chief Executive Officer of Meannan Foods, and we've loved hearing your tale about your journey in agribusiness. We hope that you have the chance to talk to our new Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, because you seem like a shining light of an example of what we could be doing.
Thank you. I have had a lot of support from the previous government through the programs they ran with GA and other, and I pray and hope that it will be continued. At this point, I want to give props to Madam Kosi. She did so great for small and medium businesses like mine to thrive and expand. And I think that there's a lot more we ourselves need to do in supporting ourselves in the growth journey. And I look forward to get same support from the new government so we can continue to thrive.
Further high praise. Shout out to Kosi Yanke-Ayo of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, previous guest on the Asaase Breakfast Show. And we say thanks again to Charity Adupong, who has been our boss lady CEO. Come back and see us again. We do know that you're going to be that multimillionaire in next to no time.
Amen. I'm well on my way. Thank you so much, Nanaya.
And stay tuned to the Asaase Breakfast Show. Next coming up, yes, some dulcet tones from Negril, from across the ocean, from global Africa. It's a reggae moment on the Asaase Breakfast Show.
Reasons why we connect each child. You know, be say we won't make one our loved ones happy.
Daddy, thanks for the tea cash, okay? I love you.
That be my daughter, Angela.
Never could you. I mean, sure, why? Tea cash, naba. No, Papa, you know, was sick.
Say I go take care of my parents. It be my duty. Say make her pay my bills. I they use Telecel cash. The suppliers for my shop there.
Hello, boss. I get a Telecel cash alert too. They deliver the things right here.
And they make them happy because I pay them directly to the merchant number for any network talk. Then sort my people out with Telecel cash for free.
If one a family parties, then business partners they happy. It be they make one a connection strong. Carry Telecel cash, send money, give your people for them a Telecel cash wallet store. Any day, anytime. It be free. Make you save money. Tap cool. Then make your menace smile. Anytime you go carry Telecel cash, send them money.
Telecel, connecting energies.
The ABS, the Asaase Breakfast Show.
Okay, I'm not sure who was singing there. Definitely not the girls who were in the studio, but sounded good enough. I'm sure they recognized it. I hope it's their anthem. Holy Child School, 79th Speech and Prize Giving Day on 8th March 2025. That's in, 2 days' time? Something like that. It's a chance for us to talk to them for a short moment.